Welcome to Nerdindex. Today we're giving our final review of Bogus Skill Fruitmaster, about that time I became able to eat unlimited numbers of skill fruits that kill you. There were 3 distinct story arcs, and the second arc with the blacksmith was my least favorite. It felt like it dragged on too long and left me feeling bored, even though there were technically high stakes going on. In fact, the majority of the show was aimless, because the only goal that we were told was that Light wanted to be a hero, but as soon as he eats the second skill fruit, he just goes around being OP and beating really hard boss fights, so what is there left to do? After he ate the second skill fruit and learned that he was also resistant to the poison, why didn't he immediately eat more?
It felt like he was still afraid of what would happen if he continued to eat them.
But they waited until episode 4 to bring it up again.
Yeah, and in that episode, there were some penalties for him eating more fruit. Not death, but it wasn't quite an afternoon snack either.
I guess he did roll over having a really horrible headache or something, but why wouldn't he just eat one a day at home instead of waiting for emergency situations?
This is probably what I would have done, although we don't know what all the available skills were and if there would be one that could cancel out one of his highly valued skills that he already had. So I could see an argument for the Sword God skill, the second skill that he got, being all that he was really looking for, leading him to not really need to keep eating them anyway.
Well, those questions still bothered me. I found Lena to be a more interesting main character than Light, although she is the classic girl that just wants to help everyone and kind of nosy in everyone's business, but the fact that their storylines diverged made the show's pacing a bit awkward.
It felt like it easily could have been 2 shows, as the 2 main characters were only really together for 4 episodes of screen time between the first episode and when they met up again and got to go on a single mission together.
The fight sequences did not flow very well, and the choreography left me questioning what was actually going on, especially during the fight in the abandoned mansion. Light and Lena were separated by a horde of zombies, but it didn't even feel like they were in the same room with the way that it was handled. They concluded a plotline in the final episode, but left the main story off with enough leads for a second season, which I really don't see this performing well enough to get.
There is some potentially interesting world building that was left behind with the Holy Sister and the other bureau leaders that could make for some interesting storylines if this show does get to continue.
The show as a whole could have been improved with more cohesion and directed momentum, so this was just barely a 6 out of 10.